Hi guys, I'm back and I'm doing my 2025 yearly reading wrap up. Now, this isn't a lot of books considering last year I read like 150 books, but this year I was in a major book slump and the majority of these I read like a few months ago maybe, or just sprinkled all throughout the year. I don't remember when I read these. Some of these probably were last year, but I can't remember, so we're going to do them all in this video. First up, we have The Foxhole Court by Nora Sakavic. This is an mafia sports romance. It follows Neil Jostin, our main character. It's only told through his point of view. It's third person point of view. And basically, he's on the run from his father, and he ends up joining this Exy team. And this series is really hard to explain. Just know there's found family, it's toxic, the characters are all complex and messy, and this series is just really good found family. It's my favorite found family that I have ever read in a book series. I truly enjoyed it. I read it about 5 times this year. I read it like 5 times this year, and I mean like the whole series, the first trilogy and then the second trilogy following Jean. The third book is not out of that trilogy yet, just book 1 and 2, but like I read that over and over and over again along with these 3 books as well. And they are just so good. So if you like found family, complex characters, toxicity, and a slow burn romance where you're not getting anything until the 3rd book, you're truly gonna love this. It is adult, but there is no like on page smut, and I love that. That's why this is another one of my favorite series. No smut on page. And I forgot to say that this series is 6 stars. It's my favorite series of all time because it got me out of a book slump and it gave me something to read when I was in a book slump, and I typically don't reread books ever. So the fact that I reread this like 4 times, the entire series all the way through, every single word over and over and over again, tells me that I truly resonated with these characters and this world and just the author's writing style. I just loved it so much. There's also sapphic characters in this book, which I really enjoy, and really good hetero romances that don't feel forced, you know, because sometimes when there's a boy and a girl, they automatically just put them together regardless to if they have any chemistry or not, just simply because they're a boy and she's a girl, you know? But yeah, this series is just really well done, and there's so much diversity in it, and I just absolutely love that. Next we have You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Barron. This is I would say a mild horror book. I loved it. This was my very first book by this author. I also read Cinderella is Dead, but I did not like it, and I DNF'd it within like 3 chapters, so I don't know if I can really count that. Actually, I think it was 6 chapters, but like I don't think I can count that as my first Kaylin Barron book. I just didn't like it. I just didn't vibe with it. This one is also sapphic, which I absolutely loved. I thought their romance between the 2 girls was so good. They are already in a romance, so they don't like meet and get together in this book. They just go through everything together. Apparently, it was very slow by a lot of reviewers, but I didn't realize that. I just enjoyed these characters right off the bat, and so I didn't even realize that what happened on the blurb didn't even get there until like 60%, which I do kind of believe, in my personal opinion, that this blurb is a spoiler. So I don't recommend reading the blurb because none of this even happens until about 60% of the book. And usually your blurb is supposed to be about what happens within the first 20%. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a great mild horror. It's not terrifying, but it was fun. I had a lot of freaking fun with this book, and I want to try more books by this author to see if I resonate with anything else. And also look at that adorable cover. I absolutely devoured this book. 5 stars. Next we have And the Sky Bled by S. Hati. Yes, I 100% recommend this book. I was obsessed from the first page. Now, granted, I will say one thing is 100% true. This ending is kind of whack. Like, I mean, the book kind of just ends abruptly. Like, you know that it ends happily and you like see some of the happily ever after, but like dude, after like this much, it was like this much pain and this much, no, it was a little less than that. About this much less of like happiness. That's it. That's all we got for the happiness. And so I felt like we deserved just a bit more, but I feel like if I read it again, I wouldn't mind because I am not a big fan of like overly happily endings anymore. It's just not really my thing. So I don't think I'd care as much. Oh, that reminds me. You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. A lot of people complained about the ending. They said they didn't like it. It's a YA book and it's supposed to be a romance. I thought it was great. But anyways, I love this book. Basically, the premise of this book is the sky is bleeding. And like I'm not good at describing books. All I know is the sky is bleeding and that their like world runs on the bloody sky and other stuff. You know what? Just read it. Just go read the book. It's actually really freaking good. And I cannot wait to read the next book by this author, Morbid Curiosities, because if this book was good, I just know the next one is going to be as well. Next, we have The Girl from the Well and The Suffering. I never finished The Suffering, and it's not because I didn't like it. I rated the first book 3 stars, not because I didn't like it. It has such an incredible premise, and it does it really well, but I found myself not wanting to pick the books up again after I was reading them, where I just got really, really bored. So I would read it, and then I didn't want to put it down, but then when I did put it down, picking it up felt like a chore. So I liked it, but I put this book down, and I haven't picked it back up. And granted, I don't even think I care about figuring out the ending. So that tells me that I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. And that's crazy because Rin Chupeco is an auto-buy author for me. I have literally all of their books on my shelf. So basically it follows Okiku, and it's like a Japanese legend of this woman who died upside down in a well. And so she's basically, she unalives people, but she unalives people who hurt children. And then she meets this kid named Tark who has tattoos on him. And basically she like feels like this connection towards him. And then there's like more to his story. And then there's like another spirit. And it's like I said, I suck at talking about what books are about. But I think it's good. I think it's pretty good. I just think it bored me. But it was good. So it's like, I recommend it, kind of, maybe. Next, we have Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. As you can tell. No. I will say one thing. This book did get me into mermaids, and now I have an unhealthy obsession with mermaids and sirens. Too bad on my second read through, I got to the part where I found out that these mermaids, I can't even say it. It's a spoiler. Because it happens within, I'm like 346 pages in. Yeah, so I can't say what I found out about the sirens, but I can say that I didn't like it at all. It kind of ruined it because we have this perception of what sirens and mermaids are. It's like the number one well-known thing. And then they're doing an autopsy on one. What is that? Like, I was so mad because no, I'm not willing to accept that. I don't care what anyone says. Quite frankly, also, the characters are all annoying in this book. Now, for a book to be this long, I need the characters to at least be likable. None of them were likable. Well, I mean, actually, some of them were, but like, Jillian Toth was the worst one in this book, and everyone seemed to love Jillian. And I'm not 100% sure why, because Jillian, the ageism in this book was really freaking annoying. Like, really annoying. And I didn't see a single review talking about the ageism in this book. Like, there's literally a line in this book where Jillian is talking to another doctor, a doctor who's probably like 27 to 29 years old. And she's like, "What's your name? Your first name?" And he tells her his first name. His name was like Daniel Lennox or something. And she goes, "Good, I'm going to call you Daniel because calling someone that's younger than my daughter a doctor is dehumanizing." And no one said anything at all to this woman. Do you know how disrespectful it is to tell a doctor that you're not going to call them by their title because they're not the right age for you? I'm trying to move the dog out of the camera and he keeps moving back. Atlas, please, bud. Like, let someone tell me that they're not going to call me by my title simply because of my age. I will literally throw hands because what are you talking about? So what age exactly do I deserve to be called doctor if not right after I get my doctorate? Please tell me. Is it 35, 45? So because you're in your 40s or whatever, you are deserving of your title, but because he's in his 20s, that means he's not. And no one says anything at all about this. And she's just disrespectful to all of the younger workers throughout the entire book for no reason at all, besides the fact that they're younger than her and she feels like she's better than them and she knows more. So this definitely was written by a boomer and it's quite literally annoying to read. And it's not just her, but all of the adult characters, like the very old adult characters, were always going on a rampage about how they're older and wiser and they know more and they just know how to relax and take things day by day and they're not going to freak out. And then calling all of the younger people kids is so rude because these are adult doctors. Call me a kid at 27 with a degree and why don't you see I punch you? So yeah, there's a lot of things I hate about this book, especially considering the fact this is all just a bunch of rambling with 1 or 2 scenes of sightings of the mermaid. This right here. This is the action. I couldn't even get to it. I planned to, but I don't care to. The mermaids are incredible. But this, every time a new character is introduced, they talk about that character for about 4 to 5 pages. And then this is all just a bunch of scientific crap. And according to some of the reviews, it's not even accurate. So, like, a lot of it isn't accurate. So now you're teaching me stuff and you're wrong. Now, what am I supposed to do with this? Anyways, mermaids, cool. I read in the prequel as well. That one was boring, but all the characters were much better than any of the ones in here. So, yeah, that one was good. This one was bad. I give them no star ratings because this was a waste of my time and my money. Next up, we have Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This book has the most beautiful cover. It is so beautiful, and you could tell that this author took a lot of time. I will show you one of the illustrations in it, whatever one I flip to first. Like, you could tell that the author took a lot of time writing this book, but unfortunately, I didn't like it. The characters were really annoying, especially Andrew, and we're in his head for the entire book. I don't believe the other character ever gets a point of view, and Andrew is really insufferable, whiny, and annoying. Like, he is just so annoying. This is one of those things where if he was a female character, none of us would like him. All of the reviews will be saying that he was so annoying and so whiny, but because he's male, it's perfectly okay for him to be whiny, weak, and annoying. So yeah, I just didn't like it at all, mainly because of him. And then I just felt like the writing style was just trying way too hard. Like, every line was over dramatic, including like the first line. It hadn't hurt the day he had cut out his own heart. Now, mind you, that line, I thought that he would have cut out his own heart. And maybe that happened at the end and I didn't notice because the ending was confusing. But that doesn't happen. It's just very over dramatic. And that it's like that throughout the entire book. And it's like that in the author's other book, Hazelthorne. So I had to DNF because sometimes I couldn't tell if something that the author was describing was actually happening on page. And when these are horror books, I need to know if this is reality or not. And it's not like these are psychological books. Like, they're just horror. They're supposed to be gothic plant horror books. So I would just say that these were really the characters were really insufferable. And from what I remember from Hazelthorne, I actually liked Evander more than I liked Andrew. So there's that. But I was only 110 pages in that one before I DNF'd. But anyways, yeah, I won't be reading any more of this author's books, but a lot of people do like them. So I do recommend you give them a shot. And the covers are beautiful. It's MM. Oh, last thing I have to say, the characters read like they were 12. I could not remember for the life of me, and I still forgot because I thought they were 12. I thought this was a middle grade novel. These are 17-year-old boys. 17. I was shocked, and I think that's mentioned at the start, but you can't read them as anything other than middle school. I thought these were 12-year-old kids. So yeah, that is how immature they read and how whiny and annoying Andrew is. That's how he sounds, like a 12-year-old. So yeah, like 2.5 stars at the very most. Next we have Gaio or Giyu by Junji Ito. Basically, this book is so entertaining. So it's basically about how these fish take over the world. Yeah, so instead of zombies, it's fish with mechanical legs that take over the world and start killing people and turning them into fish monsters. It was so entertaining from start to finish. Now, mind you, the ending wasn't the best in my personal opinion because it just ended. Like, literally, the book just stopped. And I flipped the page and I'm like, are we done? And I thought there was a sequel. There's not. It just ends there. But I thought it was good. And I didn't really mind that it ended that way because I was like, how are you going to like solve this? I feel like you bit off more than you can chew. And that was very clear with the ending because it was just really fun. And I was like, I don't know how you're going to end this. But yeah, great book. Very entertaining. 5 stars. Next, we have Deadless Walking by G. Benson. This is a sapphic zombie romance. Yes, sapphic zombie romance standalone. And basically, we follow this girl named Taryn and a bunch of other queer characters as they are trapped in this hospital during the zombie apocalypse. So basically, there is this plague and all these people were sent to the plague. I don't think it was a plague. A virus. I'm sorry. There's this new virus and all the people were sent if they had these symptoms, they were sent to the hospital and told to get checked up there. And so a bunch of people showed up to the hospital and then things went down and they started turning into zombies. In my personal opinion, I think the zombies could have been done a lot better. Like, I think there's more, like, for a zombie book, there should have been more zombies. And they didn't really read as zombies. I just felt like they were just cannibals. Honestly, just crazy people. At the very most, just, yeah, crazy people. I just expected a little more, but I still gave the book 5 stars because I thought the queer characters and then the sapphic romance, chef's kiss, it was a second chance romance. Now, before you get scared and run away, I actually hate second chance romances because 9 times out of 10, there's usually a very valid reason for why these characters split up. So why are they getting back together? But my personal opinion in this book, they had a very valid reason and they didn't like necessarily split. It's just something happened, you know, and they just kind of just read the book. I 100% recommend this book, but if you're expecting like this really crazy breakout zombie apocalypse, nonstop action every 5 seconds, you're not going to get it. It's very slow. It's set in a hospital. It's going from thing to thing to thing. You're going to be in like, I think 5 or 6 characters' heads. Now, I will be honest, there was one character that just didn't need to be there, and I cannot remember their name. Their name was Ro. Now, they are a non-binary character, and as much as I like the representation, I didn't like it in the book because it felt forced. In my personal opinion, there was no need for that character. They shared the same information that another character that was much more important shared as well. So this character served no purpose. They didn't share anything out of the blue. They were just there as just another queer character. And it just felt really weird. And then the author would kind of like forget that they exist and then randomly mention that they were there too. And I'm like, where did they come from? I forgot they were even in this group. So that character was just really out of place. And then at one point we go like 5 chapters without hearing from them at all, and they're literally in the group, and then randomly, like I said, they're brought back up. So that was the only character that I felt was forced, but there is trans rep and sapphic rep, obviously, bisexual, and I believe asexual representation as well. So it's like you have a lot of queer characters and diverse characters. But just the non-binary character, I have nothing against non-binaries. I'm just saying this character was not needed in this book at all. They were just thrown in just to tick a box. In my personal, tick a box? I don't know. Check another queer box. And I just don't like when that's how it happens. They could have tried a little bit harder to make their character needed, because they were not necessary at all to the plot. And that never changed. Next up, we have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I ended up reading Divine Rivals in 2023, and it was my favorite book of 2023. It's my favorite romance of all times. It's basically, there's gods, there's a war, there's magical typewriters, and this rivals to lovers romance. I usually don't pick up historical romances like ever, and this was like way out of my comfort zone genre. I don't know. I can't think of the word right now. I would just naturally never pick this book up and never actually enjoy it. So the fact that I picked it up and I did enjoy it was very, very surprising. These type of characters aren't even ones that I read about. I usually read about like psychotic characters, morally gray, very complex, but these characters were just normal people stuck in a war between 2 ruthless gods. And I just thought it was so freaking cool. Now with this book, a lot of people didn't like it because you get like less than a handful of scenes of these characters actually, the 2 love interests actually together. They stay separated for basically the entire book, but they do contact each other all throughout with their magical typewriters. So I thought that that aspect was pretty cool. And then adding in the fact that he had amnesia as well. The god had like taken away his memories, made it even harder because he had to relearn all these things about her. And this was all stuff we already knew from book 1. So that also made it a little bit harder. And I thought that maybe they could have been brought together a little bit sooner. I feel like it is a romance. They should have been together a little bit sooner. But other than that, I thought that the book was really good. I loved learning everything about the gods, but most people read for the romance and not the gods. So I think that's where the book kind of had its downfall. But overall, I loved Roman and Iris, and I loved their ending. My favorite part about the ending, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will say this for the girlies who don't like pregnancy tropes, that didn't happen in this book. There was no pregnancy trope. And I absolutely love that, because for some reason, whenever there's a happily ever after between 2, like a hetero couple, it is always a pregnancy trope at the end. And as somebody who does not want children, I hate reading about it, because in my personal opinion, that isn't a happily ever after. I need no children and just living their life. Now, they could probably have children later on, but I don't have to know about it. You know what I mean? So I love the way that this wrapped up. So I gave it 4.5, 4-ish stars. I really liked it, but nothing will top Divine Rivals, in my personal opinion. That is my 2025 yearly reading wrap up. And I do intend to try to make more videos. I just don't know when I'll post. I will just post when I have something to post about. But yeah. Oh, and I wanted to say, I'm sorry if the camera quality is bad. I got a new phone. I'm using the Z Flip 7 to film my content and post my content because I have nothing else to use. And unfortunately, I don't think the camera quality on this phone is as good as my iPhone. And I know YouTube will decrease the quality even more. So I do want to apologize in advance if it was really, really bad. But all right. Bye, guys.